great take. Did you get that? Oh, I did.
Outrageous. That's sort of my,
Yeah.
it's sort of my favourite things to say after a great take. Like when it's a jazz thing, I'd just be like, that was outstanding. I wish I'd recorded that one.
You dick.
I do it all the time. I can't stop myself.
Hello and welcome to another Take podcast. My name is Marcus. Oh, fuck. So in each episode, we have a special guest that will grace our Guestafield. Here we have this week's guest,
The first guest.
Hello.
Jon Hucks.
Hello.
Wow.
Thank you. Thank you.
So we'll be going
Keep
through...
clapping longer.
Oh, sorry. So we'll be going through Jonathan's favourite topic, a technique he particularly enjoys using, or something in the recording industry that's close to his heart. Does that sound right?
Yeah, no, bang on.
Oh, should we get stuck in then?
Yeah.
Hello, John.
Hello.
How are you?
I'm good. How are you doing?
Good.
Howdy do.
Thank you.
Thank you for having me here in your
Well,
wonderful
thanks
studio.
for being our
Come in.
first
Yeah,
guest.
first guest.
Thank you. Lovely, lovely space.
How's the Guestafield? You're the
Oh.
first to sit in it.
It's good. It's good.
Yeah?
Got
You
my
liking
little,
it?
Got my little cushion
I'm a
at the
bit-
back here. Yeah, loving it,
I'm a
man.
bit upset we don't have them.
I know. Maybe we'll upgrade
Yeah.
as we get further down.
Season 2.
Yeah,
Yeah,
when the Spotify money comes rolling in.
yeah.
we've
Yeah.
got
The Joe
sponsors.
Rogan money rocks
Yeah.
up.
We'll have pipes.
With the remotes on the corners.
Why am I here now? I want to come back for that.
Okay, you can come back for that. Yeah. You can be the first guest for that.
Cool.
How you been?
Yeah, pretty good. Busy, as always.
Busy's good.
Yeah, can't
Busy's
complain
good.
at all.
No,
It's been
busy is
good.
always
Yeah.
good.
Yeah, thank you.
So you recently made a move up to Liverpool.
A year
out
ago.
of a year ago
year
now.
A year ago,
Jeez.
yeah. Yeah. Is that recent? I guess it is.
Well,
Yeah.
well, I haven't
Yeah.
seen you for a while, so
There we go.
how's that going?
It's good.
How do you like it?
Yeah, I love it. It's amazing.
You've got your own space up there.
I have
Yeah.
finally got
Yeah,
my own
yeah.
space.
And
which is-
what's with the guys who used to be Par Street? wasn't
Yeah,
it?
so
seen
so the guys that used to run Par Street, they now have got they've moved to Kempston Street,
that. Yeah.
which is kind of north of the city centre, and they've got completely their own space there now.
Oh, sick.
Because like all studios, Par Street got turned into flats.
Yeah.
So they
Sad thing, really.
well so they're not city centre anymore, but they are pretty close.
Yeah.
And yeah, amazing. They've got a beautiful room upstairs, like Studio One, really nice live room, control room, API desk, gorgeous sounding drum room. Yeah, really nice. And then loads of production rooms about as well. 2 upstairs. There's 3 of us downstairs. Mastering studio, and then another little kind of
Nice.
studio with an audience in and a little
Oh, I've got quite
Booth.
a bit going up there then.
yeah,
I mean,
and a
Par
coffee
Street
shop
was-
as well. So you guys would love
Oh, happy
that
day. We'll get
segues
onto that.
nicely into
Yeah.
this, doesn't it?
He's
So-
jumping the gun.
No, well,
Well, we could dive right
we can
in.
dive- I think that's
it. Well, I mean, the coffee's on the table.
A cup
He's
of
on the
co-
table. You can smell
As
it.
the old saying goes.
Yeah,
Like all episodes, we'll have a coffee of the week bought from hopefully
A
local
localish
shop.
place,
If
yeah.
not, could be online.
Could be-
If we run out of coffee shops.
the ish then is doing a lot of work on that one.
Well,
I
depend-
thought
there's
ish.
only so many coffee
Yeah,
shops
yeah.
around here that do
Local-ish.
fresh. Local-ish, yeah.
None of
We'll
the
have to
beans
start
are
tracking.
local.
Yeah, this little local place called Amazon.
Yeah.
I'll tell you what it's called, and then we'll see if we can hit any of these tasting notes.
Oh, we're gonna do it this way now.
Yeah, yeah, I like
Okay.
this.
I like it.
Okay.
I like it. I like it.
So have a little. I'll tell you what it's called. It's called Chamaya. It's from Peru.
Okay,
Washed process. So they.
you're gonna have to educate me.
I think now I could be wrong. I'm not an expert on coffee, but I think it's when they pick the cherries with the coffee beans inside, and they wash the pulp and stuff off them before they dry them,
Right.
as opposed to drying them with the pulp on. So that's your natural process, and this is a washed. So
Oh.
you don't get some of the fermenty kind of things you would get if it had the pulp left on when it was drying. out in
Okay,
the
so you're not
sun.
going to flavors out the pulp.
Exactly.
Right,
Oh no,
exactly.
some of them, like there's some of the different flavors.
Okay.
So
Interesting.
we're gonna see what we can taste.
Yeah.
Okay.
Dive in.
I just warning. I'm not like a massive coffee aficionado, so
That's okay.
Do you
We'll
drink a lot
see.
of coffee in the studio?
yeah, in the studio. yeah.
Everyone just
yeah.
rinses
yeah.
it, don't
Still quite hot. Getting a
I
lot
bet
of
that sounded good down the mic.
getting a lot of hot. If anyone
they?
calls
Right.
out,
I'm gonna say
any of these.
citrusy.
I'm going to be amazed if you hit a single one of these.
Citrusy. This is such a guess. Green apple.
Green apple.
Go on.
Wow.
So this is what we're looking for, though. These kind of like descriptors, vague descriptors.
Nope, I haven't got a clue. Tastes
yeah.
like coffee.
yeah. Let me have another
Yeah. It's,
gulp.
as we go through the podcast, you'll as it cools down,
More will come out.
more will come
will
out.
come out.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. Cooler is generally
Me
better.
and Marcus have done this a lot, especially when we used to work here together. It's just like you get a nice bag of coffee and you're like, oh, I could taste, like they'll say the notes.
Yeah.
And you kind of started to learn the actual flavours that they mean
Right.
by.
Yeah.
what they're actually saying. It doesn't taste like green apple, but
Yeah,
there's
yeah,
like
yeah.
a resemblance to
Yeah.
like something.
Yeah,
in
there's
there.
like a
So I'm going to read these in reverse order because
okay.
maybe I'll turn them to the camera.
Because I don't know.
The last one here, oolong tea, and I am getting a certain teeness with it.
I thought that was
Something a
maybe
bit
because it was just a bit weak,
tea-like.
but yeah.
Maybe that's what it is.
But yeah, I
Sort of
get
like
that.
a tea. You getting that?
Isn't that the brewing? How someone's made it?
Yeah,
Well, that's what I mean.
but-
That's why I
but-
didn't think it was tea.
Okay.
I think there's something to that. These other two, I'm not currently experiencing.
Okay.
Raspberry.
No,
No raspberry?
no, I think they make it up.
This last one.
I mean, I was going to joke and say pomegranate, but I didn't.
Oh, this last one, though, I'm definitely not getting. Marmalade. I love marmalade.
We literally were
I-
talking. We were
I
talking about
wish-
marmalade on the
Yeah.
last episode.
Ah.
If it
actually.
tasted like marmalade, I'd be all in.
Where's Paddington from? Paddington Bear? Was he from Peru?
Oh, yeah, I think
There you go.
he was.
Marmalade. He had marmalade sandwiches.
He was from Peru.
I don't. He was
He's-
from South
There was
America
something
somewhere, wasn't
about
he?
that, yeah. He
Quintessentially
travelled from
English.
there.
Yeah, but that was the thing. He came as like an
I
immigrant.
actually
That's why he
cannot
had his
say that
suitcase.
I've never seen it.
Oh.
I can't remember the last time I watched Paddington. Actually,
Very good.
Well, I might. That might be tonight. Get home.
Do it.
Put Paddington. on.
Double bill. Watch the both. 1 and 2.
Yeah, and there's a new one coming out as well.
Is there?
Yeah.
Oh,
We're just really
treat.
We're just really like honing in on Paddington right now.
Yeah, you
Like
like
selling
marmalade?
Paddington. Yeah.
Well, yeah, there's no marmalade there. That one that I had a coffee at. Have you been to High Water?
No.
It's Oh Wonders place down in.
I've seen pictures of it. Yeah, it looks
So nice.
absolutely ridiculous.
They own a coffee shop,
No.
and he brought this coffee, and honestly, it just tasted like Ribena. It was insane,
Really?
like properly fruity, like what you could taste out of it. It was
And
incredible.
like sweet as well.
Yeah,
Wow.
it was insane. But then he said he was going for like 36 quid for like a
Wow.
250 gram bag or something like that. It
Jeez.
was nuts.
So where's the coffee shop? Is it downstairs?
No, it's somewhere else. They're trying to open one round the corner, but
Okay, cool.
it's
Is it?
wherever
It's
they
south
live.
though, isn't it? South.
South, it is south. I can't remember where their studio is as well, but that coffee was like we need to get a bag of it because
Yeah,
it,
that'll be-
was insane.
If we can get one for this, I mean, it'll be pushing our budget, but we'll get it.
You can have them on.
That would be a good one.
Oh, they could bring it. They could bring it.
They could bring it.
Yeah, exactly.
Oh, if we
Have
get
a
people who
coffee
are
off.
into coffee, they can bring their own coffees.
Yeah, great shout.
That's great. Happy days.
Just planning it.
That'd be pretty cool.
Yeah,
But that studio looks beautiful. Have you
it's
worked on that?
gorgeous. Yeah, I went a few weeks ago.
So
It
cool.
was really nice.
Yeah.
Just lovely areas, and it's got a 24-hour concierge, so it's like you don't need to worry about keys or taking keys back. You just
Bougie.
give them back to the front desk. You like,
Is
Is
so
that-
that because there's other stuff in the building?
there's other stuff in the building, and it's like it's under flats as well. So they just kind of use their
Under
concierge.
flats, wow.
Yeah. I think so. A little bit about you, Jonathan.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, let's talk about you.
Me.
So last time we talked about us, 'cause
Okay.
we didn't have a guest, but now you're here.
What do you do?
So we had to
What
talk
do you
about
do
us at
when- when
all.
I'm not here?
We're not interesting. You are.
I don't know about that.
Take me.
What do you want to know? What do you want to know? Tell me.
Take me
All the
back
way
to
back.
little
All the way
little
back.
Little Jon Hucks.
First
We need
time
that
you
little
heard music.
The first time I heard music.
No, I'm
trying to think now. What was that? I don't know.
What was the first
Going
song
through my
you ever?
cassette collection.
What was the first song you ever listened to?
Oh, jeez.
Ever.
Oh, God knows.
No, take us back. So where did it all start for you? Where did the passion kind of
So
start?
I started playing drums.
Yeah.
I
Nice.
was shocking, like terrible. We did this, near us, you could do like a rent a kit type scenario. So like my mum rented a drum kit and you have it for so long and then you either keep it and you
Oh, yeah.
pay it off or
Yeah.
you give it back. Gave it back. It was rubbish. I was rubbish. The kit actually probably wasn't rubbish, but I was rubbish. Then I started playing guitar. And I remember my mum saying to me, I was like, I'd like to try guitar, like get a guitar. So I was kind of getting into like metal and all that kind of stuff. I'm like, oh yeah, it'd be cool to play guitar. And she just thought it was gonna be like the drums. She was like,
Yeah.
you'll never do that. So I was like, I will. And to her credit, she got me one. We got one. Got a
Yeah,
little
yeah.
start. I've actually still got the guitar in the studio.
Oh.
It would be like the cheapest like Fender Squier guitar, like you know
Yeah.
the one that comes in the kit with a little
Yeah,
guitar
yeah,
amp. in.
yeah.
Still got it.
Still use it on everything.
Every record, of course. And yeah, that. So I played first, and then I didn't know that this was a thing.
Mhm.
Do you know what I mean? Like I was just really into music and playing and like played in. I never played in like a proper band, but played in like rubbishy school bands.
Yeah.
I needed some summer work, and there was like a music venue near me. So I messaged them and said, "Have you got any jobs going?" At the time, I was like 15.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
like no, the only jobs they had going were for bar staff. not going to work for a 15-year-old. But like to their credit, like amazingly, they were like, "Do you want to just come down and like hang out?" So I was like, yeah, for sure. So I went down there and just kind of never left. Really, I just started like hanging out there. Didn't have a job. I just would go and annoy people basically, and like they were like, "This is like set me up." And they were like, "This is where we do like front of house. This is the sound and the lighting desk." And I remember seeing it would have been like a Behringer or something, this desk. And I was like, "What? How does this work?" You know, like the first time you see like an SSL, but on a much smaller scale. And yeah, just kind of went from there really. So started out like learning front of house. It was like jazz and bluesy kind of music they did there out in the countryside. But they had a studio attached to it. And so sometimes they would record the gigs. So then I kind of migrated and started like they just plonked me in the studio probably when they had enough of me. They're like, just go in the studio and you know like just make sure it works. So I'm just sat there like hit record and then you know you sit there for 2 hours making sure it all works. But yeah, that's kind of where the bug came really, I guess. I was like, oh wow, this is a thing. And then they would do sessions sometimes during the day, like actually in the studio. So then you'd go and hang out with them and learn. And it was like an old like Yamaha DM2000. So probably one of the most hard like digital desks to learn or something. Like it was awful. But yeah, and Pro Tools. So until that point, I was kind of messing around in Logic, but they were on Pro Tools. So I just naturally kind of had to learn that.
Andy.
And yeah, that's like good. It worked out really well. Like, and yeah, it went from there really. So
where are you from?
So I was in Essex.
Essex.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. So literally like a little venue out in the middle of nowhere.
Nice. I mean, that's perfect. And that's the fates aligning.
Yeah, out near Saffron Walden, actually.
Yeah.
Really near there. So so yeah, that was that. And then a producer and mixer moved into a unit because there was like industrial units around the venue. He moved in over the road, and I just annoyed him. I just go around my career just annoying people essentially, just being like, teach me things, tell me things. So did that, and then he needed to know how to use the studio. He did a session in there because the venue sounded amazing for drums. So sometimes people would record actually in the venue, just drums. And for whatever reason, I was the only person like available. So I did a session with him, like showing him how to do it. I think it was like Underworld. I think that was the first session I did. Like we did some drums for them, which was mad. Just went from there really. And then I got the bug, and I was like, this is actually a career. Like this is a job. But even when I went to uni, I didn't necessarily want to do studio stuff.
Right.
I thought I naturally kind of went more live sound. But then I did a load of really awful gigs. I was like, you know what? It's a bit more chilled out in the studio, weirdly.
Nicer. You just like all of a sudden it's 3 a.m. and you're like, I think a gig just happened.
Yeah.
Something just happened.
Yeah.
And I'm not sure what it is.
Or it all goes wrong and the entire crowd look at you.
It's just it's a thankless job because if the sound's good, no one notices and says a thing. If it's bad, everyone turns around.
Yeah. Like it must be wicked though to be like, you know, at a festival, doing front of house at a festival,
100%.
putting the faders up and like just seeing that, being part of that.
Amazing.
But
I felt the same as you. I did a lot of live sound stuff as well, and it just got to a point where I didn't feel like I could take in the moment. It was like all after was like, oh, that was actually a pretty good gig. Whereas in the studio, when things are happening, you'll be like, oh, this is cool. Something's happening here.
Yeah.
So I definitely agree.
And it's the stress thing as well.
Yes.
Like in the studio, if it goes wrong, you can normally be like, let's just take 5 minutes, or like you can figure it out. You don't have all this pressure on you. Like the gig has to start in 10 minutes time. It's like,
I never kind of went near it for that reason. The kind of performance element of it where it happens and then it's gone. And that's kind of, that was your kind of side of the performance. They performed, you performed.
Yeah.
And it's gone. There's no chance, no redos, no kind of second takes. Well, it didn't appeal to me in the same way as the, you know, stops and starts and being able to fully can control that process.
Yeah. But I guess I don't know, in the studio, I don't think you get that same like adrenaline rush that you might get in a gig.
I could totally
because
see.
It is a one-off.
Exactly.
And that's kind of, I guess, maybe the beauty of live stuff as well, because it's like it's done.
Yeah.
Like it is what it was.
Yeah.
Like you never have to hear it again.
Yeah.
Whereas when we do stuff, people are going to hear it forever.
Well, literally now. So you mentioned that you went to uni.
Yeah.
Where did you go to?
I went to Lipa. That's the Liverpool connection.
That's the Liverpool connection.
Yeah. So went up to Lipa, had an amazing time, and then I was still doing stuff for people, producers that I'd like met, while I was at uni. So, like drum editing, all that kind of stuff remotely. And then Lipper were very good at like trying to like work with bands and like use the studio. Don't just use the studios for like the course, use it for yourself as well. So I did a lot of that. And then came back and was down here like ever since then. But then naturally we've got lots of friends up in Liverpool still, so that kind of drew me back up there.
What did you think like you kind of took from uni? What do you think it gave you
from uni?
Yeah, what do you think it was like the biggest takeaways? Because when I went to uni, because I'd gone to college before that, and kind of done studio stuff. I'd done a lot of live sound stuff. I've been doing that since I was like 13, 14.
Yeah.
So then when I went to uni, it was kind of people were coming in from zero, having done like physics degrees or media like courses and stuff like that, then come to uni. So not to sound like a wanker, but like I already had like a couple of years kind of head start. The reason why I went to Huddersfield and went to that university is because I had a placement year, which later moved on to other things. So it's like, what did you take from Lipper and kind of did it help?
I mean, I think
Lipper's notoriously good for.
I think I was very lucky at Lipper. As in, whilst in the first year they did do a lot of like, this is a microphone. It was very much like, but you will know that. Yeah. So it was very much like just, we kind of do this so everyone is at a level, but it was not like people going, oh, I've never seen one of those before. Yeah. So I got lucky in that, and everyone there was so like into it. Like I do sometimes feel difficult talking to other people that not even just doing sound tech, but went to other like university. I did any course, and like they, you hear stories, and I'm just like, I can't relate to your uni experience because I don't know. I feel like that mine was just so like everyone was so on it. Like competitive. Everyone wanted to be the best. Yeah. And like everyone was like trying to constantly like, we got like be the best essentially. Yeah. But everyone really got on. It was such a small course as well. Everyone really got on, and like you knew everybody. Yeah. But we were just also like in it. Yeah. Like that's all we're just like now. We just talk about like that's all we talk about, and that's what it was like at uni. There was no people there that were just like there for like the like I didn't know what else to do. Yeah. Like which must be a really hard position. I can't imagine being in. I've been lucky. I've never been in that position. I've always known, like since I started working and doing that thing in the venue and in the studio, I was like, this is what I want to do. Yeah. So I've always been lucky in that respect. Yeah. But I know a lot of people aren't. They just don't know what to do, which must be horrible. I guess like we are working. Yeah. Like just got to get on with it. Like they were hard.
Pushing you into working with people like outside your course.
Yeah, but
making sure you're using the studios not just for your assignments. Use it for.
But even like the hours, like I remember in the first year we had to clean the studio. We were on a rota. Yeah, and we had to come in before everyone else and like clean the studios.
Wow.
Because they were open 24 hours a day.
Yeah, yeah.
So like, like third years or second years would be leaving the studios at like 6 a.m. and then you'd be rocking up at 7 and you were cleaning it.
Oh, wow.
Because they're, I don't know if they still do it now, but at the time it was kind of like, when you start as a T-boy, this is what you're going to be doing, like potentially. I'm sure that's changing a bit now, but it kind of got that in you. Everyone has to take their turn as well. Like, it was a rota.
Yeah, yeah.
And they didn't really look kindly on people trying to get out of it. Because it was like, look, the rest of the team, like everyone else on the course has done it. Yeah, so why should you not do it?
That's great, because I think that's what a lot of courses out there don't necessarily offer. It's like a reality of studio life, where I think a lot of things, there's a danger that everyone's being set up to, you come in, you do your course, you learn a certain specific things about being a producer or engineer and all the kind of stuff that sets you up. So you leave and think, cool, I'm an engineer, I'm a producer, I'm a mixer.
Yeah.
But without any of the kind of real life skills that you need to go into a studio to start and actually get a job.
Yeah.
All of that stuff, like taking care of a studio.
Yeah, knowing your place. Like I know it does. I sometimes I say it. Yeah, but like, do you get this? Like sometimes you'll say that to people, and you go, "Oh God, I feel like an old man or whatever." Yeah. But I think it is really important. Yeah. Like not in it's not in a horrible way, but it's like for sessions and studio things to run properly, there needs to be a certain hierarchy there.
Yeah.
Like,
you've got a load of voices just talking at once.
Yeah,
and nobody's able. You can't hear over the noise.
Yeah. And know your place. And that's not trying to say that if you're at the bottom of the ladder, you're any less important than the producer, because you're not. I always think the assistant and the runner are the most important people in the studio because, especially when they're really good, they're keeping the whole show on the road.
Yeah.
Because, when you're an engineer, like when you're engineering, there can be so much going on.
Yeah.
You can't keep track of who's hungry, who's tired, who's pissed off, like what they're saying they might be moving on to next. So having people that are really good that are around you can come up and be like, they might do guitars in 10 minutes.
Yeah.
But okay, cool. Like I know where we go. Like you're helping me through that session. So I think that is so important. And shouldn't look down on anybody. I started out State of the Arc. I did a Miloco internship for a few weeks, and then I went to State of the Arc, and literally there my first job was literally just making teas and coffees and going and getting people lunch.
Yeah.
Like I remember you'd have a whole band of like 4 or 5 guys, and you'd go, okay, so that's the drummer's pocket. Because they'd all give you cash, and then that's the guitarist's pocket.
I used to hate lunch runs because they'd send you to the shop and be like, "Oh, go get the sandwich," and you're like, "But what if they don't have that sandwich?"
Yeah. Oh, yeah. What do you do?
What to do then?
Yeah. You need alternatives for everyone all the time.
Yeah. Or some would be like, "Oh yeah, can you go here?" And then can you go here and get something from? And
Are
it's
you
like,
insane, mate?
It's like, mate, come on, like
Deliveroo saved
that has changed the game.
Deliveroo changed. What's
Can
good
you pop to the shops? I
Deliveroo.
could pop to the shops, or
you
could order it all
exactly.
right now.
But then I remember,
have you used Deliveroo before? Because I've got a code you can put in that's going to get you 10% off. There was a whole thing when Uber Eats first came out. I made a fortune. Every client that came to the door would be like, "Have you used Uber Eats yet?" Use my code. I'd be making £10 off every
on the referrals.
Yeah.
The old affiliate scheme.
I made bank. It was great.
You were just eating for free.
Yeah, for ages.
Jeez.
Oh,
cheers for telling us all about that.
Like, you got half a brain. That's why. So we'll just quickly touch on kind of you getting into studios and where did that come from? How did you do it?
Apart from like the young stuff. So once you finish your
all
course,
that you've done you.
You went to stay
so did the classic thing like you just message literally everybody.
Yeah.
And like beg for something. And like I said, did the Miloco thing. So I was at Leroy Street for a couple of weeks, and then I was at Assault Battery for a couple of weeks.
When was this? Was this pre my Miloco
2011?
Time? Yeah, pre my time with Miloco.
Yeah, probably end of 2011. Maybe beginning of 2012. No, 2011 probably. Then I went to State of the Arc.
Nice.
And was just like a runner there. On and off. It wasn't like constant. So I was there, for a while. Got to kind of like the assisting level. So Manon, who now is like massive mixer. She was like the assistant at the time. But that was amazing, man. That studio, like they had everything.
Yeah.
Crazy.
Yeah.
Like you name it, they had it. After State of the Arc, started putting some feelers out for other studio stuff. Ended up going for a coffee with the studio manager at Strong Room. But they weren't looking for anyone at the time. So then after that, I randomly got a message from Miles, who's now at Dolby, saying he was looking for an assistant on this boat, Grand Cru. Turns out he's also got quite a big Strong Room connection. So the manager at Strong Room, Phil, that I met, had put me in touch or like connected us. So yeah, that's how I got that break into Grand Cru, which kind of was the beginning of like the like things moving forward, I guess.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's how I ended up at Grand Cru. And it literally was just starting from nothing at that point.
Yeah.
So it had been Pete's private studio for so long. It was literally like going in and being like, we need XLR cables. Like that kind of level.
Right.
It had some, but like not. When we started doing
like a commercial session.
Yeah, when we started doing sessions, it's like, we need more Bantam cables. Like things like that. It's like, wow, we've run out of stuff really quickly.
Yeah.
And the patch bay isn't labeled correctly, and it's on the floor, and all things like that, which over time we then corrected until we got to a point where it was running really well. But yeah, just weird that like a coffee, could get you, can take you there.
Coffee can do anything.
Well, this is what, and I've spoke to a few people about this as well, and it's like how. So I don't know. Maybe we could talk about a little bit of how you feel like when you contact these people.
Yeah.
I find a lot of people, and occasionally get a person or two reaching out on Instagram these days. Asking for it, but I find it quite direct.
Right.
And I think that always kind of puts me off. The way that I would always do it, and the way I speak to a lot of people, is that I'm not asking for anything. I'm not asking for work. A lot of the time I'm asking for advice. So when I left uni and I'd worked with Sam Harper at Chapel Studios, I didn't ask him going, do you know where I can work? I was like, what did you do when you finished uni?
Right.
And then 2 weeks later he came back, he was like, send your CV to Miloco, I'll put in a good word.
Yeah.
So yeah, just maybe like touch on a little bit of like how you went about getting these things, or did you just spam everyone?
Yeah,
or
well, yeah. After
how
uni,
did you
it
go
was
about
pretty
it? Yeah,
spammy.
yeah.
I think that's you kind of have to. There's a lot of people graduating every year.
Yeah.
It's a really tough game, and I think a lot of it comes down to either like luck, meeting them in person, and then passing it on. But it's all through like one connection that becomes a spoken thing. Like I got into studios through a uni friend who'd come down to London before me. I don't know how he got into the door in the first place, but he'd been working at the studio, and then when I came down, he put a word in for me. So it's all like, I already had somebody who knew somebody.
That's what I had with Sam.
Exactly, and that seems like it's the most common way I've heard that people find a way in. If you just happen to know somebody, connection you've made, a friend you've got who's done the same thing. It's all your connections and network and people who are happy to help you out.
But I do think there's a way of going about.
Yeah, but I
be
think
personable as well. You've got to be personable.
Yeah,
you've got to, instead of just be like, "Hi, I've just finished uni. Can I have a job?"
Yeah. But that's also like, I think that's like studio one-on-one anyway. Do you know what I mean? Like being like a decent runner, assistant engineer, whatever. You've kind of, we're in these dark rooms for most of our lives. We need to you need to be able to get on with people and not rub people up the wrong way. I think you can be like the best technical person that knows everything and how everything works. But if you really if you don't gel, then people aren't going to be like, "Oh, just come and like hang out." Whereas if you go and you're kind of, you're in the back of the room, you know when to speak, when not to speak. Like you get on with people, then people are more likely to be like, "Yeah, just come and come and hang out." But then I think you can also, and I feel like I did this maybe at the beginning of my career a bit. You can be too quiet as well.
I came from that way. Instead of being, I think people go in quite arrogant and get shot down.
Yeah.
Or you come in very shy and you kind of build up to it a little.
Yeah. But I think sometimes the shyness I felt like sometimes, early on, it can hold you back as well because you just kind of blend in, which is good because that's what you want people like runners and assistants to do, because they're doing their job. But you do need it's such a hard balance as well.
It's a really hard balance. And it's a really hard job to do. And it's client dependent. And especially going in there as a runner assistant, the hardest job because you're not trying to do your job. You're trying to be good. You're trying to stand out. You're not trying to get in the way. You're not trying to do too much, but you're not trying to do too little. It's such a hard job.
And it's every day it's changing because every client's different every week or every day or whatever. Especially now, every day. But back then, it was state of the art. It was more like bigger block like session.
Yeah.
But now when we're doing like literally like every day is different people. Yeah. How do you juggle like that? You never even really learn people's personalities. Yeah. So actually, it's probably harder now.
Yeah.
Because you never get all that time with people to kind of become like matey with people because they're in and they're out.
Different sessions as well, where people come in to do something that might just be a laptop.
Yeah.
Because you're needed less, you're less involved. You don't need to be in the room setting up 20, 30 mics and then helping everybody getting people drinks and coffees and teas and things like a big band.
Yeah.
It's one person running the tools or just doing production stuff.
Yeah.
You don't have that chance to interact at all. You just sort of...
No, but I still think you should be around though.
No, I completely agree. That's totally true.
Because I remember at Grand Cru and a producer that I've gone on to engineer quite a lot with, he came to Grand Cru for a week to finish off an album. And I'm pretty sure he just did it on his like he was finishing off on the laptop and I think they were recording some vocals and stuff. But I don't think they were using our rig. But yeah, I was like, there wasn't barely anything for me to do, but it was like, still be around.
Yeah.
I really believe that because you just meet, that's how you meet people.
When you get that 5 minutes in the middle when you're getting a coffee or you go for lunch and you tag on. And it's like, that's when you get chatting. And that's what they understand, like what you want to do, or I don't know, football team you support, or you might be into the same bands and stuff like that. And that's the way that you kind of, you've gel, you're looking for that opportunity to gel. And then, I really like that person. Like, I'll maybe ask for them next time I go. Or,
exactly.
I'm going somewhere else. Like, do you want to come with me?
It's definitely something we try and like encourage everyone to do now. People you see coming through where maybe that kind of older habit that everybody had of being in the room all the time because that was your default was you're in the room unless somebody says, can we have the room for this session because we just need a bit of privacy whatever and you're like, oh okay, no problem, I'll step out. You just like, of course I'm going to be there. Now there's a sort of flip where some people think, I'll presume I'm not going to be there, but maybe if it's the right vibe, I'll stick around.
Yeah.
But I'm trying to encourage everybody working with Miloco now to start with the presumption that you should be in the room, you should be involved.
Yeah.
And then take it from there.
Yeah, because they'll tell you to get out, but I don't think they'll necessarily tell you to be in there.
No,
because I think so many studios that a lot, especially the people that are just on laptops and that kind of production, they're so used to going to studios they don't even have assistants or anything like this, and so they just go in, set up, leave at the end of the day. So they're never going to be like, "Can you be in the room?"
Yeah.
Whereas I think as an assistant, I'd much rather the assistant be in the room and not doing anything for like 11 hours. But in that 12-hour, if they're not there, that's the moment you're going to need them, and they're not there.
Well, it's when you look around, basically, isn't it? It's like when that thing happens, and you're like, "Oh, actually, they're not here."
Yeah, yeah.
And then the vibe's gone, and
the whole session slows down because you're like, "Oh, I've got to go and look for them. I've got to text them or something." It's like,
well, you have an idea, and you're just like, "Oh, I just had a random idea. Maybe I can try and do this," but you can't make it happen fast enough, and then it passes. And I was like, well, let's just carry on. We'll just do what we're doing.
Exactly. Yeah. Yeah. So I think you're right. Having people assume to be in the room is definitely the way to go, I think. Yeah.
And it's just a mindset. It's just kind of flipping that. We had a few, I think it just happened during things like the pandemic where people where everyone was keeping their distance a bit more. And then there was this shift seemingly kind of across quite a lot of studios. And it's just kind of flipping that back, that mindset back kind of.
But I mean, to be fair, that if the productions are going, I can see it. Why you'd be like, why am I? Like, what am I doing? Really? It's a glorified door opener, essentially. Some sessions, like,
there's totally sessions where that is the case.
Yeah,
but you never know if you're not in there. You don't know what's happening.
Yeah, you never know who's going to turn up.
And the stuff you can learn from watching people doing things without having to do like a large setup.
Yeah,
the stuff you can observe somebody doing, the tricks and just somebody's process with something, hearing it evolve, even just sitting listening.
For sure.
So educational, so useful.
Yeah.
And developing your own ear, being in the room, developing your opinion, your taste.
Yeah.
Which is such a big part of it, where until you're sat in the room listening to things, hearing them change, hearing them kind of come together. Yeah. And each point you'll be like, maybe you agree with some things that they'll do. Maybe you'll think, oh, that's interesting. I wouldn't have done that.
Yeah.
But it all forms your opinion. And like you use those decisions later on to make your own decisions.
Exactly. And also you then learn what's bad. That was one of the good things, I think, of being an assistant and a runner. Like you can watch other people fuck up.
Yeah.
And you got nothing, it's nothing to do with you. They fuck up, who cares? Like, so you can be like,
problem.
I'm not going to do that.
Yeah.
Or like see the way people interact with artists or how they, when situations get a bit tense, how people deal with it. And you just go, yeah, I'll do that, but I won't do that. Or
I think that works.
You
I
didn't
think that works. Yeah, it's kind of, you get to watch other people.
For sure.
Make their mistake.
Yeah.
But that's the beauty.
It's so useful. I love it.
It's like a proper apprenticeship at that point.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
I think a lot of people skills as well, watching how to almost like, especially now when I was doing a lot of night stuff for the first 2 years, didn't really learn anything audio wise, but just how to deal with people, how to get on with people, which meant you got more out of them, or you made sure, I don't know, you gained their respect as well. I think that's a huge part of just being around people.
Yeah.
So how long were you at Grand Crew in total?
Oh, until it closed in COVID. So until 2020. So yeah, we went alone for, oh God, that'd have been, I don't know, 2015, maybe 2016.
Yeah.
4 or 5 years.
Nice.
Yeah, because we went, like I said, we started with just us. And then Miloco got on board the boat.
Yeah. I love it. I love it.
And then we kind of went from there, really. And then then COVID it got called a day.
Skip over that bit.
Yeah. Then I was kind of in Miloco like properly at that point.
One of us.
Because I was like, I was one of you. Because I'd like, it was so funny because I knew everybody through like text messages and stuff and seeing people once a year at the Christmas party. I remember going to one of the first parties and like there was assistants there. Oh, how long you been here? They're like, like a few months. I was like, you know everybody way more than I do. And I've been here like 5 years.
15 years.
Yeah.
Help me.
Yeah. Then last August, Liverpool.
Where?
Well, between
Yeah,
I know
yeah.
the M6 or like the back of my hand.
You can do it with your eyes shut. That's
Yeah,
not, don't do it with your eyes shut. But you could.
Don't recommend that. Do
But
not
you could.
recommend that. But yeah, no, I'm all over the place now, which is really cool. Yeah,
Keeps it fresh.
it does, and it's nice to travel around and go to different studios and
Yeah.
and see different parts of the country. We'll see the inside of rooms in different parts of the country.
Yeah, yeah. See different. Yeah, different.
You were to Livingston. For
I've
those who
done-
don't know,
yeah.
we're back at Livingston.
We are indeed.
for the
I've
podcast.
done a few sessions here, but not like what I would call like a proper like a.
You've not got stuck
I've not
in.
used like Livingston to its like
Yeah.
full potential. I'd love to. That'd be
Yeah.
that'd be wicked. Like, yeah. No, I've done like vocal sessions and
Oh yeah.
weird like filming sessions and stuff like that, but nothing like
Come on in, mate.
you can really get your teeth into.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Which is what I love.
Push it to its extreme. Push it to as far as
You
it can
actually
go.
use the desk.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Oh, what?
That'd be quite nice. I don't know. I feel like that's coming back round though now.
Oh,
No,
it
but
definitely
I-
does feel
I
like,
feel
it's
like-
that kind of live recording sound as well, where for all across genre, I think people are putting that into
Yeah.
productions.
Yeah.
If you're putting the core down live, seems to be becoming more and more popular. So
Or maybe a time thing,
even
maybe
producing
budget thing. I don't
around
know.
like a live core.
Yeah.
That's great. That's
Yeah,
kind
For
of
sure.
very hard to fake.
Yeah, it never really left here. This is the core of this has always been jazz, big
Yeah.
band kind of stuff. So we've always kind of seen that. Obviously, 'cause the line of sight and the separation. So, but it feels like in other genres it is somewhat coming back.
That's cool. I
Which
hope
is
so.
So,
For our
yeah,
sakes.
yeah,
Yeah.
But it's
just-
weird.
For a
Like,
while there, it felt like it was a bad idea specializing in, or not specializing, but like going down the full like old school engineer route,
right.
learning all how to run sessions in big rooms. You're like, this
Mm.
is a dying art. Why am I doing this?
Yeah.
And yet it's coming around. Those
Yeah.
skills are paying dues.
Yeah, but I think I don't I agree, but I do think like I feel like when artists start to make like real money, I feel like that's when they do start wanting to do this. I guess they get the opportunity to suddenly be like,
Yeah,
actually, we
yeah,
can
yeah.
have a real
Mm.
drummer on this track, and
Well, we can pay
we can
we
afford
can play four musicians now rather than just have one person come in and
for sure.
do everything.
But that'll
Yeah.
pay. I think that will end up influences all down the chain. When
Exactly.
those sounds are in the records that are coming out,
Yeah.
people want those sounds. So then they'll find ways of doing that at different budgets.
Yeah.
Like, well, of course we have to have a real drum kit. Of course we have to have
Yeah.
this stuff played together because that's the sound of the music that I want to make.
Yeah.
It'll
Do-
influence the come
Do you
around.
not think it's weird though, like how for a time it seemed like it was either one or the other. It was like
Yeah.
you can either be like a band or like
Yeah.
with musicians, or you're all in the boat. There was no like middle ground. Like,
Yeah,
why
that
can't?
was very. Yeah, I was quite early into it, like into assisting and stuff. But I get what you're saying. It felt like
Yeah,
one or the other.
yeah. Which I
For
think,
sure.
why?
Why indeed?
Why can't
Do
you
a bit
have
of
like a
both.
pop record with like real drums on? Like, why not? Like,
Yeah,
course.
yeah.
You've brought something along for us today.
I have. Yeah. So
Tell us about it because
you wanted me to come up with something that, what would it be? A topic. to
Yeah.
talk
Topic
about.
or something
my
you like or something
mind.
you use frequently.
Yeah. So I
So
use
your
this,
topic is
distortion,
happy days.
making things sound rubbish, so I can get away with my job. Yeah. No, I just making things sound a bit rubbish is kind of cool.
I'm all in with that.
I
I love it.
love that.
It's
Yeah.
it's the characters, the color. I think a lot of people spend. There's this ambition at the start of your kind of learning and engineering and production. You strive to do things as well as possible. Like
Yeah.
you're like, oh, what is the perfect acoustic guitar recording technique? Where should I be put? Where's the exact placements I should have these things on my drums? And
Yeah.
you're moving towards this kind of pristine recording.
Yeah.
And then you get there and you're like, that's not what I wanted at all. I
Yeah.
wanted character. I wanted kind of interesting sonics and unusual dynamics and these things that don't come from the perfect recording. They
Mhm.
come from, back in the day, they came from just the limitations of the recording mediums. And that was kind of forced some of that onto us and we all grew to love it.
Yeah.
And now, because everything's going to be so clean, we have to kind of find other ways to get those kind of characters.
For sure.
But it's like a whole thing. You get there and you're like, okay, now I need to backwards on this
Yeah.
and find ways to reintroduce these things without losing sight of this. Obviously, never a bad thing knowing how to do things clean and good. And
Yeah.
that's a skill that is invaluable. but it kind of, you take it a step further and you find ways to bring out the characteristics, and then it's so situational, right?
For sure. Yeah, and I think, I listened to a thing Jack Anton was talking about the other day, and it was talking about like music being very repetitive and like how we seem to think, it needs to be like verse, chorus, like just, we like patterns. But then he was saying like, it's actually nice to have stuff that you've never actually heard before. And I feel like this is a way of making sounds that you've never heard before.
Yeah.
Because the amount of things you can mess sounds up through is like there's just unlimited numbers of ways of doing it, right? So you can truly like make a sound. You can take a sample, which I've done some audio, some things that we can listen to.
Cool.
And the drums are all like just splice samples and stuff like that. So they're samples that anyone can get, but by putting them through things, they suddenly become something that only you could have done.
Yeah.
Because no one else is either going to have, they might have that pedal, but they're not going to use the same settings as you. All this kind of stuff makes it fresh. And also like going back to the making things really perfect, I feel like this is something when I'm engineering and producing, I'm trying to get away from now, like, and just get the sound how the band wants it or the artist wants it straight away. So if they want a trashy drum sound, I don't want to be like, I'll do it later and just record a beautiful drum kit. Now let's fuck it up. And
100%.
like, and then you can tell me right here, right now, do you like it?
Yeah.
This destroyed or not? And we can make that decision. And then that's the basis for this song. Whereas if I do it later, like we just said, there's a million ways I could distort a drum kit. And then they're going, it could be like this. No, let's just do it now. And then when they're playing, they're feeling it because they're hearing that.
That's what I was just about to say. Like, it can aid a performance. If they hear that trashy drums, they might hit a little harder or they might push a little bit more. And instead of just being like, and it's not inspiring being like, I'll do it in the mixer. Don't worry. Like, I'll put my plugins on it. And it's to do it there and then. And for me, that's the fun part of just getting your hands on and start messing around. What can I find? What can I do?
Exactly. Like, imagine like saying to a guitar player, you're not going to use any pedals. They're like, what are you on about? I feel like
I'll
it's
do it
the
after.
same.
Yeah.
I'll have to add the pedals later.
Yeah.
Like, what?
Every decision informs the next decision.
For sure.
It's like you've got your kind of sonic canvas.
Yeah.
You got to pick where you're going to put things early on.
Yeah.
Or it helps so much too. You don't have to. But if you start doing that, you can see the blank spaces. You can see the negative space where you need to put something else. Because I filled that space, but it feels like we could need something here. But if everything is so full range and so beautiful, but you intend to try and slot it in later on in the mix, what is it? You don't know. And you might end up with something, you'll really struggle later down the line, basically.
Or worse, and I've had this sometimes as a mixer, you'll get sent stuff that is completely dry for whatever, like, especially when it's lower budget stuff. People don't have all this stuff to mess around with. And they'll send it you all really dry. And then you're like, bloody hell, you're pinning a tail on a donkey. You're like, where do I begin? Because you can go, I can hear it going this way.
Yeah.
And you just take it in the wrong direction. But it's because there's nothing.
No idea what's in their mind.
Down. Like, just get the idea down. Like, if you want it to sound rubbish, like not rubbish, but you know what I mean? Like, yeah, basically, yeah, I'll make it shit. No, if you want that like lo-fi thing, do it, like, get it done.
Yeah.
Like, or if you want it to be beautiful and really toppy, like the same with EQ and compression. Like,
100%.
I don't buy into this. I'll do it. Like, do it afterwards, obviously. But why not do it at the beginning? Like,
totally.
If everyone's in the control room and they're vibing it, even if the compression is technically too much.
Yeah.
If everyone's like, this sounds wicked.
Yeah.
Who cares?
The meter goes all the way over there for a reason. I often remind myself.
I like
what are you doing this for?
Yeah. If you're going to plug it in, might as well use it, right?
Let's make it move.
Yeah. But no, I think that's, why not, basically.
100%.
I thought we could chat about a few different ways of doing
love to hear.
So what have we got here? I'm just going to move this microphone because I'm blind. So there's a few different things I use.
Yeah.
And some of it, I like to do live when we're tracking.
Yeah.
And then there'll be some stuff, you'll do in Pro Tools or whatever your door of choice is.
Other tools are available.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Which have it. If you'd like to give me a license for free, I'll take it.
Yeah. Let's start with pedalboards. I guess that's actually the easiest way. And we can do. We can have a little chat.
Oh yeah,
I don't know, just
you tell me,
explain
you tell
it.
me.
You
Yeah,
tell
Yeah,
me
no,
what
I
you
think
do.
like pedalboards are a really good way that anyone can do it because most people have got pedals.
I'm always knocking on Marcus's door, like, can I borrow your Sans amp?
Yeah.
And it's purely to put drums through.
Yeah.
The
Always.
classic Chad Blake trick.
Yeah. That's what I got. One of the classics.
Is it?
Yeah.
Have you got the Racuon?
No, it's in because he has the pedal.
Oh,
Classic
does he
pedal.
use the plastic? Oh,
Yeah,
okay.
he like lives in the center section.
But the
I think.
old one.
The
new
OG
ones.
one.
Yeah.
They're not the same. The new ones.
They did the reissue, so there's something that's called the Sans Amp Classic. It's supposed to be the same circuit board.
No way.
I've never heard
But I don't know if they're making them right now. They did them in like sometimes they were making them, sometimes they weren't.
Okay.
They say like it's the the square pedal with the little switches.
Yeah.
And sometimes they'll say classic on them. Which are like
Okay.
the reissue ones, I
Right.
think. And then the earlier ones just same thing, exactly the same. They didn't say classic. They just were Sans Amp.
I get you.
Oh, you've got one, and I'm always.
That's
I've
cool.
got
It's
a
pretty
session.
cool.
Can I doing
Can I
drums?
borrow
Can
it?
I have your Sans amp, please, for the week? Yeah.
Yeah. Why
Anything
not?
go through it.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I
it's
love
good
it.
fun.
But even the Pro Tools Sans Amp plugin,
Ah,
it's pretty
it was
good.
one of my-
I wish it had a wet dry.
My first plugin
But-
love was the Sans Amp
Yeah?
plugin. Like when I first got Pro Tools, I was like, fucking A, this is the one.
and
Like
it comes for free.
it goes on everything, yeah.
Yeah. Damn.
That's Chad
That was
Blake as well,
great.
isn't it? He's things like, oh yeah, just use that.
Yeah.
When he
Yeah.
went into the box, and
I
you're like,
saw.
what?
You know, who's the guy that engineers? I don't know if he still does, but he engineered for Nick Launay. Is it Adam?
I don't know.
American guy. I think he did. He did the Idols record and the Block Party record with Nick. I saw on his Instagram he actually posted like the settings that they used
From a pedal?
on the
the
Pro
Sans
Tools one.
Oh, the Pro Tools.
Yeah, the Pro
nice.
Tools Sans Amp, and like he had it saved as like all the he'd made his own presets.
That's sick.
It's on Instagram, and I was like, that's pretty cool.
Little
I have
reference.
to steal
Share,
those.
share,
Yeah,
share.
you
Yeah.
saved
I mean, that's
all
the thing as well. You start learning when you get into you start working in studios. Like, nothing wrong with presets, and
100%.
nothing wrong copying everyone else.
No, everyone,
If
no one
something
gets
works,
precious to it.
yeah,
At a
kinda like-
point, everyone stops being precious.
Yeah,
I think.
That cheating mentality, like it's cheating. I can't use a preset. It's like, but that was early on. I remember feeling like that with things. You're like, wow, I should probably dial it in myself.
Didn't you
because-
take ozone off one of your uni
back in-
projects?
exactly? Yeah. I had those, and I was like, makes it sound too good. That's not
Too good.
It's too different. I can't. I was like, how can I do that?
This isn't me.
Yeah.
That imposter syndrome.
That's why I got a 2-1.
Yeah, but I got first.
Damn.
Maybe you wouldn't have been sat here if
Yeah.
you'd got
Oh,
that first. You would have been sat next to me if you'd have got that first.
I think all that stuff just copy everyone. Like, if something sounds good,
It's undeniable. You're
What's
totally
wrong with-
right.
with
Yeah.
just doing it. Like,
For sure.
yeah, I actually think I've been watching. We talked about this earlier off camera, but the mix of the masters to Catherine Marks, the most recent one, and man, the amount of times she opens the SSL like plugin, and it's like, oh, I just did like the kick preset. I was like, yeah, fair
Sick.
play.
Yeah.
Why do something if you're going to be basic? If it's already there,
Yeah.
why make it yourself?
Or you start somewhere, and then if you need to change it, change it.
Yeah.
But if it sounds killer,
For sure.
there you go.
And it's not like these presets are made by just random people that don't know what they're doing. They're
Yeah.
all like by decent engineers and producers.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'll have that. Thank you very much.
Yeah, of course. Well,
Yeah.
I think it makes my when I do it, so it's just making my process a lot quicker. Then there's more creativity in the mix instead of being like, oh, what this little bit. It's
Yeah.
like, no. I want to flow at this point, especially at that point where I'm getting. Sometimes I'll go in, I'll be like, can I refine this a little bit more?
Yeah.
But at that point, I'm like, I've got a flow. I've got some creativity. Cool, that's a great preset. I know that. Cool.
Yeah.
Next bit. And it flows a little bit more, and I get the creativity.
Because at the end of the day, the artist doesn't care what you're doing on the
No,
computer.
no.
Like, all they care about, does it sound good? And can they keep going really quick? And that's one of the things I learned from engineering on some pop stuff. It was just like, just just make it like quick and keep
Yeah.
going and no messing around. And it doesn't matter how you get from A to B.
Yeah.
'Cause-
yeah, you're the only one who sees it.
Yeah, who's ever listening to a mix on the radio going, I bet they use kick preset. I see that.
I know
That
that
kick sounds-
Sans Amp preset.
Yeah, exactly. No one, they just go, that's a wicked tune.
Yeah.
Like, that's all that matters.
Yeah.
But I think that takes time because I was very much like you were saying about the preset thing. Oh, I can't use preset.
Yeah,
It's
I
cheating.
always used to. I'd be like, I wouldn't tell people that I would doing it.
Yeah.
I've done it. I did
Your
it for
little
a lot.
secret.
I did it for a lot longer than I cared to before I admitted it.
Right.
And I was just like, no. I made that.
Yeah.
I found that saying,
Yeah.
no.
But yeah, no. So I think going back to the distortion-y stuff. Yeah, I think pedal boards are a great way of doing it. And reamp boxes, you can get the expensive radial ones, but you can get like one-off Toman now for like 60 quid or something.
Yeah.
It's so quick. Even some interfaces like now have a reamp output already like built in.
Yeah, they do, don't they?
Yeah.
I think the Arturia one has got that.
Yes, it does. Yeah, I'm pretty sure it does.
And it's like, yeah, why not spit some signal out and just send it through some stuff?
Why not? You might just come up with something. I think a lot of sounds that people listen to I want that drum sound, or I want that guitar sound. It's just people messing around and stumbling across a lot of things most of the time. So just try and put a bit of time aside just to be able to do that.
Exactly.
I think for me, that's the fun of the studio, is being able to put that time aside just to twist some knobs.
But again, I think that's testament to being in a studio with a really good, like a really good studio that's set up really well, really good assistant. As an engineer, you've kind of planned it all. So then when it actually comes to the session, things just fly really quick. It's like, you know, you might have your effects on sends already, like all that's ready to go.
Yeah.
And it's like, oh, let's just try this through. Let's press a button. Like in my room up in Liverpool, this is one of the best things I've found about having my own space. And it maybe was a little bit extreme for my first room. But like, I just wanted, because I'm lazy.
What's this going to be? I cannot.
No, I'm just really lazy, right? So
everything's around the sofa.
The minute I have to plug something in that's not plugged in, I won't bother. I can't be bothered. Like, I'll just, because, you know, you're saying, you just lose that inspiration, right?
Yeah.
So I just made sure I had an interface with enough I/O that everything can always be plugged in all the time.
Yeah.
So if I want like to send stuff to my pedal board, literally I just open up a send in Pro Tools and it's already labeled pedal board.
Yes.
And it just magically appears at the end of the reamp box, which is then plugged into my pedal board.
Yeah.
And then that goes straight into a DI, which is already into a mic pre. And then I just make a new audio track and just call that pedal board. That on the input, it's a pedal board and it's there. Yeah. And it's the same for everything in my studio. It's like, because I just know, I'm just lazy. And if it wasn't set up like that, I wouldn't.
I think it just kills a little bit of creativity. Like I've not got a setup on a place where I can have these things out and ready to go. So I very much keep myself in the box and kind of buying more of the UAD satellites just to be able to use more of that, because it is that thing like, I'm going to have to go get that and set that up now and do all this. But the thought of having that is really exciting to me. I just don't have a space at the minute.
Oh, for sure.
I think you're right.
I know I'm in a lucky place to do it.
It's not, but it's like, it's not. It's also not like laziness. It just kills creativity. Like speed is what keeps it kind of going. And if you have to kind of do it and get up out your seat and have to set the whole thing up, it takes you 10, 15 minutes. That spark, for me anyways, it just disappeared.
Yeah. I mean, I remember actually, I got one of the little Behringer Mini Moog clone things off Marketplace, and that was because a guy his girlfriend wouldn't allow him to have it out.
Yeah.
So he just kept putting it away in the box until he just never used it. So he just put it for sale because he was like, it just never leaves the box anymore.
Oh, that's so sad.
I was like, I love that. Thank you very much.
I'll give it a good home.
And now it's in my rig and on Pro Tools. It just appeared like literally already run into pre's. Don't have to do anything.
Yeah.
But I think you can do it in the box as well if you get your template right.
Yeah.
Which I'm sure you have. Like, it's just
nope.
All right, okay. But no, you can just have it like the same thing essentially.
Yeah.
Just have like
your toys are plugins.
Yeah.
Like I've already got into like the AMS like delays and reverbs.
Yeah,
I got those on UAD because they're really expensive. The vintage ones.
Yeah, they are. Right,
$2.5 grand.
They break a lot.
Yeah, exactly. I'll have the one that doesn't break. I can have 20 of them, please.
Yeah.
But yeah, same thing, just in a template.
Yeah,
AMS,
so I've got
done.
like my mix template like that. I've got all my setups and I've got my go-tos.
Yeah.
And stuff like that. But for me, I do like getting it out of the box, and I find that really fun. But I haven't got the capacity.
Yeah, that's fair. And and that's why on this I've done like some that that are out of the box, and then some that are in the box.
Yeah, well, I think maybe I saw that and I kind of had seen that you said that you'd done some in the box as well.
Yeah,
I think maybe that is a little bit of like the difference between the two is. So like the way that you've done it and been able to do it almost as quick as a plugin is that you have your rig, you have your room set up ready to go.
Yeah.
And it depends how it works for everyone. People might be happy just to get things out and set up and I know for me I'm not very good at that.
Yeah, I'm just so lazy.
But when I stand up and I go set up a pedal board, that's me downstairs for a cup of tea, an episode on Netflix, and my mind's wandered, kind of thing. So there's ways of, like you said, there's ways of doing this as well, and we'll get on to like in the box. But I think speed for you is kind of a big thing. And
I think the in the box versus out the box thing, that's not even actually a sonic thing for me.
Yeah.
It is just literally like, look, you can do it. All right, so I've done some samples for us to have a little listen to.
So, you got these splice loops.
Yeah. So, actually, no. The drums were Timpo.
Okay.
You know, the contact thing.
Oh,
Have you heard of that? It's fucking amazing. Highly recommend.
I've not used it.
It's really good.
Timpo.
Yeah, Timpo. Just it's just like a virtual drummer in Contact. It sounds
sick.
amazing. Not made by Contact, by Native.
No, yeah, it's third party.
It's really good. Which actually, it took me ages to find the drums because in Timpo they're already quite distorted. So but they sound really realistic. So I was like trying to find ones that were as clean as they could be.
Cool. So you've done that, and then you've.
Yes, I've just done various kind of things to them to kind of highlight what you can do, and they might be. It might actually be a little like listening back now. It might be a little extreme for what a lot of people do in a mix.
Yeah,
but it's just highlighting what you can do.
But would you do it this hard and then almost use it like a wet dry blend in?
Yeah. So I have it as a separate track.
Yeah.
So like on this, I've got like the kick, which went through a few pedals, and I would print that back in as a completely wet. And then I would balance it within the mix.
Yeah.
Cool.
And then
so these are the absolute extremes that you would blend in.
Yeah. So we've kind of done some before and afters as well.
Oh,
so should we have a look?
Yeah, sure.
Let's have a listen. So this will be like just the dry drums. Yep. Cool.
Nice.
Just some drums.
Love it.
And then this will be the kick. So I took the kick and just sent it out into the pedal board. And this is what it resulted in.
Gnarly.
So that's just a pure wet kick.
Yeah.
Right there. I've got the clean kick. So I've got the drum kit with the clean kick in it, and then I mix in the dirty kick as well.
It's like he's a bro. Oh yeah.
You get the idea.
It's like notes.
Yeah.
Again, like it's really like a bass line. It's like do 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 do.
And imagine if you were playing that live. Like this obviously was done all in post. But if you were drumming to that would be such a different feel to just the normal kick.
Yeah.
And then you hear of people doing it where they'll send it to like PA speakers in the live room as well.
Yeah. I've done that with people before.
You're feeling it, right?
Yeah,
it's cool.
But yeah, you seem to be like you're adding a little bit more weight, a bit of everything more, as well as these kind of notes and the kind of the harmonics.
It's just bringing everything out.
It feels a little. To me, it felt a little more musical as well.
Okay.
Just kind of hearing those kind of notes and harmonics coming out of the kick.
Yeah.
Just a bit more interesting.
I think it turns what is just a drum beat into something that's like the beginning of a. You can already hear where it might go. You're like, well, that's giving me like a doom, 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 and it kind of inspires onto the next thing
for sure.
Whereas others just in there.
Well, if you were doing that and tracking that live, and you had that going in, you'd then start influencing the bass line because you now get the kick that feels a bit longer. Well, do I do a shorter bass line?
Yeah.
Rather than going, oh, cool, I'm going to do that in post because that's the drum sound I want.
Yeah.
But now my bass line, it's clashing with the bass line a little bit. So it's kind of, that's what you're kind of getting on.
Particularly where there's notes as well. That's going to totally influence what comes next.
Exactly. And imagine if you were doing that while you're writing the song.
Yeah.
Like that's going to completely change the direction of the song.
Yeah.
Yeah. Sure. Like, let's get a drum beat together and we'll write to that.
Do that. And you're already putting the song in a like I kind of like try and think of songs as like being in like a world, like a sonic space. So that sets it. You're already kind of putting it in a place at that point.
What's on your pedal board there?
So I've got a picture if you want to see it.
Oh.
Here we go. So I have. Can I spin that round? Can you all see that?
Let me scooch.
Oh, look at these. He's got the broadcast.
So so that would have been the broadcast on that.
I got one of those.
What's the difference between that one and your one?
It's yellow.
Apart from the colour.
They do like special editions where they just change the paint.
Does that have the switch on it? Or is that where you've got the two?
Yeah, so the two pedals. So
that's, rather than having a high and low gain, mine has a high and low gain switch on it. You have the switch that switches the same thing.
It's just
Slight side tangent, but that's just made me realise that I'm still on the waiting list for that pedal. That you're on the waiting list for years.
King of Tone.
Yes.
You know the King of Tone?
You know,
I've heard of it. Yeah.
Analog Man.
Yeah.
Yeah, me too.
I use them with a guitarist. Oh God, it was just beautiful. But like you put your name down and then you forget about it till every so often, and that has just made me realise.
They got well pushed back in COVID as well.
Yeah,
so
You know what? I think Rich at the studio where I'm at in Liverpool, he owns the studio. He co-owns the studio.
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure he was saying he puts the King of Tone on.
They're so good.
Like, he even just has it on.
It's the one that's
Neil
it's
McCall,
like dual-sided
right.
distortion drive, isn't it? Where it's just you can have either two of the same, or when you get them to make it, you can have two slightly different circuits or slightly different amounts of drive. I can't remember the exact details.
Right. Okay.
But basically, they'll get in touch with you when they're ready to make your one.
Yeah, you just going down the list. But when
and
you
how
said,
long have you been waiting for?
I put this for 4 years now. When you said limited edition, I don't know why, just straight clocked. And you put your name down
limited.
before that.
Yeah, I've been on it for a while.
You've been on it for a while.
Whoa.
And you'll just
I think
one day
I'm
get an email
Are
going,
you not tempted just to try and get one second hand?
Well, this is the thing, but they're,
Should,
they're
like, double
much,
the
much more
price then.
expensive
Yeah.
second-hand.
Yeah.
Really.
Wow.
I want to kind of wait it out and be like, I've got one.
You're going hardcore.
Yeah.
You're like,
I'm
no,
gonna-
I will pay the price.
Yeah.
Imagine you miss it.
Yeah. Wow.
Yeah, well, this is what I'm like. I'd literally just, my thought was, I should check my spam.
Is there like?
We're
It
not
sounds
there
like they're using the Rolex policy of selling pedals. How Rolex do watch. That's what Rolex do.
Yeah, but they just can't do it any faster. There's so many people on the list that they're constantly making them.
Wow,
Just
that's
don't get
mad.
there. Yeah, I don't think I've never even used one.
Yeah, I've used one.
You've never used one?
Never used one.
Yeah, I've used.
I just heard about it, and I was because they're not crazy expensive.
Yeah,
I was like, well, that's worth. In 10 years, I might have some money. This is started out as a system. I was like,
to be fair,
I can't afford
so
it
when
now.
do you pay? You never pay.
No,
No, you pay.
You
You
pay, yeah.
Get the email.
You never pay.
You never pay. It's free.
I've put you on a waiting list for the payment, and I'll be sure to come back to you in a few years' time to pay you.
Damn.
Yeah, but it's basically you get. I think you get an email through going, "Oh, your name's next on the list. Do you still want this? If so, send some money here, and we'll make it."
I'm surprised you have to put like a deposit down.
Get your name down.
I have.
Google King of Tone waiting list. You'll see how long it is.
Let's have a little look.
I don't want to look at my spam now because if I've missed
no,
it,
you haven't because you
I'll
came
be
after me and
fuming.
mine hasn't come anywhere near yet.
You might have missed it as well.
No, I checked it recently.
Okay. So basically,
Oh my God.
if you put your name,
Says
if you put
currently-
your name down on the 29th of August 2018, you're getting the email now.
What?
Yeah. What's that? 6 years?
6 years.
Yeah.
Mate.
So I think I did it in 2019. I want to say 2019.
Yeah, well,
I
yes.
think I'm about a year off.
So you're coming up. It's coming up.
So in
my
about a year
God.
from now, if
But if you look on
pick up
Reverb
speed-
for them as well, I think they're really hard to get.
Oh yeah, there we go. 550, 600 quid.
yeah, which I think is it's I don't know what they charge for them right now,
With
but
three, I
it used
thought-
to be about half that.
The original price was like, it's a little pricey for a guitar pedal. It's a little bit pricey, but
Yeah, but
it's doable and it's fantastic. The resale price was like, I can't fathom that.
also, like people say that about Strymon pedals.
Yeah,
like the is it the Blue Sky and stuff? And they're like, oh, they're so expensive. It's like, yeah, but they're bloody amazing.
Yeah, the Blue Skies are phenomenal. No, but that's like the top end I would probably, and this is just me, and I'm not really a guitarist as well. So
Yeah.
that doesn't know. Blue Sky would be something I'd say though.
Big trees.
Oh yeah, big
That's
But
First
that's
one,
come on, that's an amp as well, isn't it? Really?
Yeah,
Yeah.
I would love one of those.
Yeah,
you not
I
going?
really want
Oh, you've got to get
am I
one.
not in the club?
I don't have
Are
have
you
one.
got one?
I always
I love it.
I would love one.
because they go and talk about like distorted drums and stuff like that.
Hang on.
Brings it out.
Yeah,
Wow.
Talking
I
about-
nearly put it down. I was going to put it on the back here with all these
Oh,
things.
you should have done.
I stole this from Dan Moyler. Love Dan Moyler.
Yeah.
But like, he has like a harmonica mic that's on the jack.
Okay.
So then he plugs it into his big trees, places it around the drum kit,
That's cool.
crunches it in. And I did it the other week for a session.
Yeah.
Assault and Battery, because they've got a really early
Prototype.
big trees
Prototype.
prototype one and the harmonica mic. I was like, yes, I've been dying to do
No
that
way.
ever since we did it. But I
Wow.
don't have either of these things. It's like, it was so good. Anyway, back to your.
Back to
Well, this
my measly
podcast
pedal board.
cost
Back to
you.
your- yeah.
But you talk about the notes. So I don't think it's on this demo, but the POG.
Yeah. Love the pod.
Although actually, judging by the setting that's in, I might have done it. Yeah, you could add like low octaves onto
Yeah.
a kick and stuff. So that's always cool. But yeah, just play around because you never know or combinations of drives.
Yeah.
So like this
Got a big
Maestro
muff.
thing is much. Yeah, I mean the big muff is
Class.
insane. But like the Maestro is much more chill kind of overdrive. So then you can run like the broadcast into that, or like the Plumes, which is like a tube screamer type one. But yeah, so that was that.
Very cool.
But then outside of pedals, another thing that I do is send things through guitar amps.
Yes, I love this.
Yeah.
So
we've both bought Selma 15 SSs.
Oh, what, the bass and trebles?
No,
it's a different one.
You worked in the pool before?
Yeah.
So you know how they have the little Selmas. They were originally like little, I think, practice amps. They have oval cones.
Okay.
They're just small. I'll show you in a bit.
Yeah.
One next door. Small things, but they just sound really cool.
Smash up so nice.
Yeah, you just turn them all the way up.
Yeah.
There's literally two knobs. You've got volume and tone.
That's cool.
You're not messing, and I run drums through that all the time.
Yeah,
it's
they're really
so
cool.
good.
I've got two of them.
Yeah.
Because I bought one.
Yeah.
And then I was on a session and we may have put a bass into it by accident. So that cone now does its own thing, which is
quite cool on its own. Actually,
it is. It's kind of it's not following whatever you're playing, but it sounds cool.
Yeah.
So I bought another one.
Okay.
But they're so you can pick them up sometimes for like 20-30 quid.
Yeah.
I think I split mine with Trick. I never paid him for that.
Really good.
I had to buy him out of it.
And then I bought an announcer, a horn you might get for announcements and things in a train station, and I can just plug that straight into the back of it now.
That's cool.
So there's options.
Yeah. Wow.
And then stuff like the PV, those small amp vibes. Is that kind of thing you
I mean,
with?
as well, like, so I put mine through like regular, like I've got a Laney, which
nice.
is cool. But then actually, where's the picture? I got a picture of it too. Sometimes I do that.
Oh yes. I love this. Is so good.
So like a little tiny like cigarette box guitar thing, always set up with a 57 on it.
Yeah.
And it's got its own reamp box. So again, I can just send it to it.
Yeah. Speed.
So like vocals through that. I've actually put guitars through that. Yeah. The only trouble is you kind of got to sit in the same room as it. So you got to hear it while it's going down. But yeah. No, I think all stuff like that, it's just, no one's ever going to do it in the same way that you do it. So it kind of gives you your own
It's
thing.
not impossible, but it's super hard to replicate exactly what you're doing.
Yeah.
Isn't it?
And also, I think when you do have like artists and people in, and you go, oh yeah, we're going to do this, it like excites people. They're like, wow, that's really cool. Like, just, changes the energy a bit.
Yeah, totally.
So yeah, so like on this demo that I've got the snare, it's through a big amp. So we can just hear it.
100%.
Yeah.
I don't think I took mine off. It feels a bit rude. Is that the reverb on the amp?
That'd be the reverb yeah.
So I've done it before, like in this back room, and like had the mic really far away. So it's like
so you get in the natural room as well.
Yeah. Is that pedals through the amp or just straight to the amp?
Just straight to the amp. Yeah. No, so the pedals were doing the kick, and then that was just to the amp. But obviously, you can do it whatever way.
Yeah.
Whatever way you want. Like an even extremer version is just running the drums just through
wholesale
the whole thing.
Yeah.
So this will be the snare through the amp and then through the spring.
Okay, cool.
And I think later in the file you'll hear me messing with the spring.
Yes.
Yeah, and that's what you can do with a spring.
Yeah.
Quick one then to the noise.
The noise.
Does it bother you? Do you get rid of it? Do you RX it?
No.
No, you just leave it in.
Yeah.
Texture.
Well, when it's in a track, again, I feel like you're going to mix it. You're not going to mix it that loud in the actual track in your final mix.
Yeah, for sure.
And even if you do push it, there's so much else going on. Maybe if it was like an acoustic song.
Yeah.
Different, but like when it's like a band, like it's all going, guitars, bass, everything's going.
It is part of it.
I don't think it matters.
Yeah. I know there's lots of people, like I've worked with people, especially assisting there, so they just want to get rid of all of that kind of stuff. And I know people that would RX that and get rid of it, and all that kind of stuff. So I was just wondering, kind of,
I think
your thoughts on it.
I mean, I think when it gets to like an extreme level, when it's like really horrible noise, but I think, I don't know. I'm not one to leave the noise on the plugins.
No, I'm with you there.
Like, I'll turn that off because that's a build up. Then if you've got like 10 CLA 76s on your track.
Oh,
Yeah.
It's like, where's all this hiss coming from?
Yeah.
When you're not playing anything, you're like, I've pressed stop. Why am I still hearing hiss?
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. But when it's like that, like
Yeah,
I've done a
you
track
don't-
recently where I added noise. Like I actually had a whole track. I just went on Splice and find some vinyl noise and just
Just
put
to
that on
thicken it
there,
out.
just to kind of give it. I know half the song you couldn't even hear it, but then in
Yeah,
other
yeah.
moments it would come through only subtly, not like
Yeah, yeah.
in your face.
Well, I saw like Greg Wells say recently as well, like I think he's developed some plugins and they've got noise on them, which a
Right.
lot of them do, don't they? Have the noise and the hiss with them.
Yeah.
And he was basically saying like, for a lot of it, don't quote me on this, might have to find it, but he was like, I've added white noise into, and this is what a lot of people say and do as well. You add white noise throughout it and you just automate it through the song, so your chorus comes in. And he just felt it like gave energy
Really?
and depth, not like density maybe.
Wow.
I
Okay.
just remember seeing it and it was like, oh, crazy. And I've
Interesting.
known people kind
Look
of do
into
that
that.
stuff. Like
Yeah.
I've heard of a few other people kind of using,
I've heard of
white
that on
noise.
snare.
yeah, like the
They'll
like
gate
gates in
the
it.
yeah.
I've heard it like just a little bit in there, like adding a bit of hiss
Okay.
for density maybe. I don't know. It's
Yeah.
never something I've never done it.
I guess
I've
it just
heard people
fills
talk
it out.
about
Any kind of gaps that you would have
Yeah,
between hits and
Tension.
things
Yeah.
would be sort of evened out.
For sure. And I guess, life isn't silent. We never
Totally.
actually go anywhere really that's completely
Well, no,
dead
it's
silent.
only an
Always-
anechoic chamber, wouldn't it? And then you still hear
Then you hear your beret.
Yeah.
So to hear like something completely just on its own with nothing else around it, I guess is kind of
Well, it's kind of like with you. Well, yeah, that in songs and also like I don't know if you ever did like any Foley at uni or anything
Right.
like that. That was always the thing. Like film's never silent.
yeah.
Because you're never listening to silence. There's always a little something in the background.
Well, that's like
Yeah.
audiobooks, isn't it? Recording the room. Then you have
Yeah,
to take
yeah.
room tone and film. They take room tone.
Yeah.
So if they need to make an edit, you can just put in the same background sound of whatever's going on in the room, the air conditioning, the sound of a light, the sound of all of this stuff that just adds this texture
Yeah.
in the background.
what you're probably hearing every day in life anyway.
Yeah.
And if you're with a band, and I know you kind of probably predominantly do like band stuff.
Yeah.
If you're going and listening to a gig, there's a noisy amp on stage somewhere.
Yeah.
There's a buzz.
Yeah.
There's
yeah.
always a buzz.
But
Yeah.
the crowd is never silent.
And the crowd's never
people
silent. But there's
breathing.
a buzz. Sometimes just
Yeah.
guitars, you get single coil guitars, whatever. Sometimes
Yeah, there's
it's
a bit of
it's-
noise.
It's just the way it is.
For sure. Yeah. And I think, obviously, like I said, don't go like ridiculously overboard. on it
Yeah.
And have noisy everything. But yeah, it's not like it's an old it's not old, is it? That's the spring thing, isn't
No,
that
no,
old?
it's
Yeah.
not.
But at the end of the day, it's meant to be a bit like janky. It's not meant to be this hi-fi
Yeah, of
thing.
course,
So I don't really get why you'd take that out if it's not offensive.
But you listen to old stems as well. I don't know if you ever got some of these stems for like old Bowie tracks or
Right.
old things that people have pulled the multi-tracks off the tapes years down the line.
Mm.
You listen to the individual things. There's all sorts of noise, all sorts of like creaks and
There's a lot
Yeah.
of hiss, like tape hiss and stuff.
and
I think
things
that's
going
where
out,
people then
pitch and tune.
add the white noise into it to almost they feel like it's too clean from not on tape machine
Yeah.
using all this. Like, oh, we'll use white noise because that's
Yeah.
kind of like the hiss in it. So
Yeah.
yeah, I think that's maybe where that came from.
Okay. I've not heard that. That's mad.
Yeah,
I'll
yeah.
check that out.
I think,
Greg
yeah,
Wells.
Greg Wells, he said it because he was on about his plugins, but I think I've heard other people in my time
Yeah.
who they do it as well.
Okay. Yeah. I mean, it makes sense. Like, yeah, I don't. Obviously, like guitars and stuff, when the amps are just like humming and no one's playing, like trim all
Yeah.
that stuff.
Yeah.
I guess as well, it would do a certain amount of if you're adding white noise in, you're gonna hit everything on your master bus harder.
A little bit harder. You've got
'Cause
more
you're
energy
basically
there.
it's like pushing the old trick of pushing the master fader up for the choruses.
Yeah.
Mm.
You just give it a little extra, so
Yeah.
everything gets pushed a little harder, even if it's not going to end up
Yeah, yeah.
louder.
Yeah.
You're pushing into things harder for that bit. And
Yeah.
back out again. That would effectively do something like a kind of,
Yeah.
even if you used inaudible noise, you could push into things harder at that stage.
Yeah, I suppose it's like
Yeah.
a way of
And out again.
hitting that compressor like a little bit harder
Well, exactly.
in the choruses, just to make it feel, I don't know, a bit more exciting or whatever. I don't know. Yeah.
It would totally do it, but it's probably doing all sorts of little things.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Try it out.
Yeah. I mean, I'll automate into like I have an inflator on my master bus, and I'll automate
As you should.
into that. Yeah. No, I'll go into that. So I
there's
use
no right or wrong, but that's right.
yeah, buy the inflator, and use the Chad Blake setting. But yeah, no, because I used to automate after after my like mix bus.
Yeah.
So going into the listening copy like limiters.
Yeah.
But again, talking to my mate Tom, he was like, why don't you try it pre-inflator? So you're pushing the inflator harder.
Yeah.
And I was like, yeah, damn, it works.
Yeah.
Sounds really cool.
Just for like choruses and things.
Yeah. Yeah. And also, like, I again, something I stole off of him, shout out Tom. I used to literally just like draw it like the whole line. Like I'd just push the whole chorus up by like a dB.
Yeah.
Or something. But I noticed he was doing like almost like saw waves. So on the downbeat where it hits, it would go up by like a dB. And then you find like the next bit where it like repeats or like it feels like it goes around naturally. So you get the next like hit.
Oh, right.
So then you go down only by like, like half a dB.
Yeah.
So you got a dB rise and at the lowest, you've got a half a dB rise.
Yeah.
So it goes up, then it gently goes down. And then when it hits again, you nudge it up again. So you're not just nudging up the whole way.
Like a really slow side chain, kind of like
I
reverse.
never
like
thought of it like that.
Doom,
Yeah.
Exactly.
doom.
Yeah.
And super subtle as well. Just
Only like half a dB or something into the inflator. Yeah, so that so that it's not like when you look. Actually, I've noticed when I did it the other way, when you looked at the waveform, you could sometimes see it jumping. But this way, going into the inflator, you feel it. But you don't. I know you shouldn't do it based on what you're looking at, but you don't see the waveform suddenly go like. It just feels bigger.
Interesting.
But I found that really cool, actually.
So into the inflator, is the inflator a couple of plugins down, and you're automating the level out of the
so I have
ahead?
So my mix bus is the inflator is the last thing on the mix bus before I hit my like listening copy like limiters, which I always have on. And there's a trim before the inflator, and that's what I'm automating.
Got you.
The trim.
Yeah.
Like gain plugin. And then before that, there's like EQs and shit.
Yeah.
Lots of stuff.
Secret sauce.
No. Otherwise,
that's when we have John back. He'll be telling us about his whole mix bus chain.
Again, it's just one I stole.
I will
essentially.
not.
No. I think it's just like a Poltec, an API. What is it? 2500. That one, which is not even compressing. It's like literally just like that.
Yeah, just touch him.
Yeah. And then sometimes a massive passive. Again, no, all in the box, not real.
Yeah.
I wish. And then into like a mid-side thing, the Brainworks. Mid-side EQ.
Yes, I've seen this. Who does that? Is it Sheps?
Yes. Someone else I stole from. Yeah. So just raising the sides a little bit, the tops on the sides, and making it wider by a little bit.
That's my next plugin. Is
like 20%. Yeah. So it's Poltec, and then API 2500, then massive passive, digital V3, then a trim, and then the inflator. And then 2
loudifiers.
Pro L2s. Yeah. But that's working for me. It took me a long time to get there.
It took me. I'm still tinkering a lot.
Yeah, I think everyone tinkers there forever, right?
Yeah. But now you can change, once you've got something, you can change like one bit at a time.
Yeah.
Like, cool.
Well, this is the thing with being in
the
box as well.
Yeah.
Segues nicely.
Yeah.
It's so as we spoke about before, you've got it set up, ready to go. So it's almost in your studio. It's effectively as quick as
it is as quick as to plug in.
Plug in.
And again, like I said a million times, only because I'm lazy.
Yeah, but it's not lazy.
I wouldn't.
I think it's.
I just couldn't do it. I wouldn't be bothered. I'd be like, I couldn't do it in the box quicker.
Yeah.
So when it's out of the box, I want it like I've got a piano which has always got 2 mics on it, running always into pre's. Phantom, like I don't touch it.
Yeah.
Like I'll occasionally look at the gain if I'm really like twatting it.
Yeah.
To make sure I'm not like distorting it.
Yeah.
Even then, actually, so then on my patch bay, I've got parallels. So I was doing this recently. Like I wanted to have a weird piano sound, so I just took the outputs of the pre into the parallels, so that I could send the clean ones into Pro Tools.
Yeah.
Then I took the parallels and then put them through the pedals.
Yeah. See.
And then out the pedals straight back into Pro Tools. And I wasn't actually monitoring the clean. I just took it because I like to be safe.
Yeah, I think that's just the thing that a lot of engineers do. There's always like, I don't know the last time I actually used a clean DI other than for editing.
Yeah, but that's when you need it.
The editing the transients is always a big one.
Because how the hell would you ever edit driven guitars?
But it's just like, I always
edit this sausage.
Exactly.
You have to like slow it down, be like, okay, there's a change.
It gives me a lot of sympathy for people who used to edit on tape. You're just like, How, man?
Yeah.
Oh, mate. Yeah, that's crazy. But yeah, that's my thing. Like, I think if you can have a session, if you're engineering another studio, I mean, obviously, again, caveat of time.
Yeah.
If you're just doing a one-dayer, just drums in a day, you probably haven't got time to set a lot of this stuff up.
Yes.
But if you're going for a decent amount of time, just spend an extra like half an hour getting it set up. Especially if you prep it in advance and you go in, tell the assistant, I want to go in and this is what I want to do. I need a reamp box. Do you want me to bring a reamp box? Some places don't have them.
Yeah.
I'll bring one. I'll bring my pedals, all this kind of stuff. Then you can just rock up and just plug in, and then boom, off you go.
It's something I think playing around with it and hearing it in isolation like this. It was like our last episode we were talking about polar patterns,
right?
And you know these things are great to understand in isolation and stuff like that. And what it helps is your understanding of it. So when you get to a session, you're already at like a base level. Like, cool, I know what I'm doing. I'm going to put it through this pedal. These settings have worked before. We'll start there. Yeah, you're already like 50% of the way there
for sure.
Because you've messed around with it on your own without the praying eyes of an artist going, come on.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, when are we going to start? When are we going to start?
When can we take? It's like, oh, come on. So I think it's like little things like this. I think are really interesting to mess around. And in the box, you can do it even more. So,
for sure.
It's just there and ready to go.
Yeah.
So.
And then talking about in the box. So I don't have a tape machine, funnily enough. I definitely don't have enough room for a tape machine. So yeah, I'll often just use the plugins.
Yeah.
So actually, I've got into a habit recently of I really like the IK Multimedia emulations.
Yeah.
So I use their like Studer one, and sometimes I'll just put it on every channel on the drum.
Sick.
On the drum. Every drum channel. What am I trying to say there? Every drum channel. Just make sure you turn off simulate transport, because if you don't, it gets chorusy. Okay. Because obviously it thinks you've got like 10 different tape machines, and they're all slightly running at different. It doesn't like gang them together. It doesn't go. This is one tape machine. Yeah, if you want really chorusy drums, it really threw me. I was like, why is this sounding so weird? Like, and then I was like, I need to turn this button. So just go through, turn that off. And again, this is something like Heat would do. So I think Heat, if you turn it one side, that like does like drum.
Isn't it one side like tube, one side tape?
Yeah, I think left is tape. Don't quote me on that.
I can't remember.
Someone write in the comments.
Yeah.
Look down below.
Yeah, tell me I'm wrong.
Because
I've been doing it left. Go, tape.
So tapey.
That's tube, you muppet.
And especially if you put it pre, I always think of it as like it's coming off of the tape.
Yeah.
Before any processing.
Yeah.
Which is pretty cool. But no, so then I'll put like other tape just like simulations on. So in this example, I've done like the Studer one, which to be fair is pretty clean. Like it doesn't sound crazy. But then they also do a really good Tascam one, which is like one of the little Tascam like Porter Studios. Which is pretty cool. And then going one step further, there's the sketch cassette.
Nice.
We've got it right.
Yeah.
Which is like extreme.
Yeah.
Which is pretty cool.
Great.
I think it starts dry drums, then it goes Studer, then it goes Tascam, then it will go sketch, and then it will go me going a bit mad with it. Because on the sketch cassette, you can do you can modulate it.
Yeah.
It's pretty cool. Okay.
So clean.
And you can hear where I do the plugins because it like cuts out for a second. Studer.
Yeah. Oh, there we go.
Tascam.
Yeah.
Sketch.
Yeah.
So I think this is the wow and the flutter being manipulated.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Cool.
Fun.
That was going through it.
Yeah.
So obviously that again is probably quite extreme, and you wouldn't have that Well, maybe you would just have that on your, like, that might be your drum sound.
Well, I thought when you were playing it, I was like, this is a vibe. This could really be the base of something.
Yeah, and I mean, if you compare it to like what it started as, which was just like a drum loop, like essentially, it's like
quite something that sounded a bit like a plugin.
Yeah,
you know, kind of.
Yeah, kind of like lifeless.
And, I just felt, and now you go to something like that.
Yeah,
like the possibilities are endless.
yeah.
But it's cool, like but using them, especially like distortion and overdrive and like tape emulation, all this kind of stuff in varying ways is really interesting. And just kind of, I do feel maybe the imperfections of it, I'm not sure, like bring some stuff to life. Like we do, I did like Frank Hart and the Rattlesnake album here, and they had done like a load of synths in their demos and stuff like that. And we just pulled out a 2-track tape machine that we've got here.
Yeah.
And we were just turning the IPs down, like the inches per second, like messing it all up. And all of a sudden, these kind of too perfect sounding soft synths became perfect for the record.
Yeah.
And we didn't have to redo them because we just kind of added a bit of imperfection to them, warmed it up a little bit, took a bit of that edge off, and it was like, oh, great.
Yeah.
It was so fun.
Or a lot of imperfection. Like you can go extremes. Talk about like the amps and taking something that's just like a synth.
Mm-hmm.
I was doing a session recently where we were laying out all sorts of synths, and we were trying to add some more kind of texture to them. So like that Lime Green Monkey.
Oh
studio. Yeah. So we ran them out from the synth through the chorus echo.
Yeah.
Into 2 amps or 3 amps in the live room.
That's cool.
Recorded those with like room mics.
Yeah.
Fed them back in. So much texture, so much kind of
so cool
stuff that just like you just take it from something it's never kind of pushed air.
Yeah.
I think about this a lot with things where, particularly if you want something to sound organic, if the first time it's ever moving air is the time it comes out the speaker into your ear.
Yeah.
You can kind of tell. There's like a very directness to it, which is very cool sometimes.
Yeah.
If you want it to have that kind of, I guess, texture.
Yeah.
Then just playing it out through any speaker, record it back in again.
Yeah.
Just add something.
And again,
like the bigger the room, and feeding it in as a texture with underneath that.
Yeah.
Amazing.
And you don't need to you don't need to studio for that either.
No,
because
100%.
you're just running it through some amps. Like most musicians will have an amp. You
Yeah.
don't need to do it through stereo or quad or whatever free amps. You could just do it through one amp.
Or a monitor. You can if you're at home and you've got one mic and your studio monitor, you just
stick the mic up.
Stick the mic up, mute the channel, play it out your monitor.
Yeah.
It's gonna add something.
Or go and record it in
change
the
something.
corridor or in your kitchen or in your bathroom, whatever.
Yeah.
Because
All of
also
this
it'd be
stuff.
such a short period of time. You don't want to piss off the neighbors
Yeah.
for like a minute. I just go and smash it out real quick.
Yeah.
And again, then you're moving real air and you're making something that no one else will have recorded in that acoustic space or through that amp.
Yeah.
That combination is something unique to you.
Yeah, absolutely.
Which gives give you whatever you're doing a little bit of an edge and a difference. I think it really sets it apart.
Or use this, or if you don't have access to any of that, just chuck it through. There's so many really good amp sims.
Yeah.
Or anything like that. Like even like the you could put it through like Pro Tools comes with those Mooga Fuga pedals. Just put it through things.
Put it through things. Exactly. Just mess around.
Yeah. Because you never know where it's going to take you. And I feel like that we can get lost sometimes in the studio with tech and like being kind of nerdy about all this kind of stuff. And this is very nerdy what we're talking about, but it's like creative. Like we're using it like an instrument rather than just like
scientific.
Yeah, like what mic's better than the other?
It's not lab coats and
yeah,
and
like
clipboards.
But it's sort of this dangerous spot where when you can do anything, what do you do? So if you've got the ability to make it sound like any room and any kind of amp, any pedal, and a simulation, where do you start? How do you pick what you're doing? How
What's
these
that
limitations?
saying? But what's that saying? Like limitation. Oh, but it's something like limitation breeds creativity or something like that. There's a quote in
that's
that.
the message of it.
When you are, that might not be the quote, but I did like the quote in my head. When you are limited, it pushes you to be so creative.
Yeah.
That's
because you have to figure out a way of doing it.
Yeah.
Because when you got a million ways of doing it, you're just like,
which one?
which one should I do?
You said I'm probably doing the same one every time.
Yeah. You don't do anything. It's like, just try something.
Pick a thing, do a thing, do something extreme. Take it really extreme, and pull it back. Like, put it through everything.
Yeah,
try that, and then if you're like, oh, well, that's not right, but I could totally see if I dial it back by 20%.
Yeah,
that's really cool.
Yeah. But also, this goes back to what we were talking about earlier when we listened to that Childish Gambino track. It's like, what actually is right and wrong?
Yeah.
Like, stop. Sounds really bad, but it's almost like stop caring how it sounds. Yeah. As long as it sounds cool to you and it gets your message across and it makes the song come across the way you want it to come across. Yeah. Actually, that is all that matters at the end of the day.
Maybe what you're trying to do is surprise people.
Yeah.
And in which case, you need to do something that's different. You got to like think outside of the box. I don't mean the computer box there. I mean like the framework of what you expect yourself to do.
Yeah.
In order to do something that might be kind of, and again, wrong.
Yeah.
Something that's way louder than you think it should be, way quieter than you think it should be, a weird position or a weird effect, a full signal through an effect rather than just like feeding it in like you think you should. Putting the plugin on the thing rather than on a send.
Yeah. Yeah.
Break the rules because that's the only way you're going to find something interesting.
Move forward.
Yeah.
Exactly. And not sound like everyone else.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I think that's a lovely.
Burn the studios.
Yeah. So that's a lovely way. Break the rules. Do what you want. If it sounds good and you like it, cool.
Stop caring so much.
Stop caring.
Which I think we could all do.
We could all.
I know I could definitely use that.
What's your favorite tea in the studio?
Oh yeah.
Brand.
My favorite what?
Tea.
I don't drink tea.
Oh, okay.
Oh my god.
There we go.
Then.
On that bombshell.
That changes my opinion of you.
Yeah. This has all been a waste of time.
You're lucky I drink coffee.
Imagine if you turned it down.
We'll have to get some wine.
Now we're talking.
Yes. Yeah.
Something bubbly.
Welcome to the podcast After Hours.
Well,
John,
thank you very much.
Thank you so much for coming on.
Yeah, it's been a pleasure.
Really
chat.
Really enjoyed
We
that.
could just talk for hours, couldn't we, about it?
Yeah.
Probably go to the pub after and talk about the same stuff
Do it.
again. Thank you so much for coming on.
No, thank you.
Thank you to everyone for listening.
Yeah, we'll be back
again
for the next episode, whenever that will be.
Next month.
Can't wait.
Next month. And we'll see who the guest is in the Guestafield then.
If I give it up.
Yeah. It's here forever now.
If you see it in John's studio.
Right. See you later, guys.
Yeah. Perfect. Well, thank you for listening and we'll see you in the next episode.
Bye.